Hey, hello, welcome to the show. It's me, JP, and it is time for JP's product pick of the week. Thanks for joining on this rainy Tuesday, at least rainy for me locally here. Hope you're all doing well, and I hope I can redeem myself for this weird whatever the heck is going on there. I'm not so sure that relates to the product or not, but I don't know, man. It's the algorithm. We're trying to convince YouTube to shove this down people's necks, right? So, so there it is. I don't know. It's just fun. So let's see. What do we do here? What's going on? I've got a product pick for you. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to send you, in fact, to the product page if you're interested. Use these things. That's the QR code. That's the URL. You can get there. You can watch this show from inside the page. The YouTube stream's right in there. And you can get the product pick for a ginormous discount. I'm refreshing the page right here. It's 50% off, maximum of 10 per customer. We have a bunch of them in stock. No resellers allowed, but you don't need a coupon code or anything. So during this show, I think this is the only show where we do it like this. We just drop the price just during the show. If you're watching the live stream later, I'm sorry we don't keep that wild pricing going indefinitely. It's just during the show and a little bit after, but you can get some if you want them, and it will cost you half the price. But what is it? What is this thing? Well, I've got someone here to tell you. You may know her. She is Lady Ada. Take it away.
Is one of my favorite new products.
Yay!
NeoPixel FeatherWing.
I'm trying to keep up with my once a week feather or FeatherWing, and I want to keep this this party fresh. And I think the people who have feathers and featherwings want to see new products come out all the time. So this is a NeoPixel FeatherWing. I'll show it on the overhead also. But what's neat is it uses super teeny NeoPixel compatibles. These are 3.5 millimeter by 3.5 millimeter size LEDs, and so originally I designed this to be, I think, 3 by 6 NeoPixels, but then I saw the teeny ones and I was like, wow, I can basically have like twice as many because they're half the size. So I made it, instead of 18, it's now 32 pixels worth. So that's kind of fun. It's got a power selector, so you can power either from USB or from a battery. It will just automatically select which power is higher. And it has a logic level up shifter, so the 3.3 volt logic is level shifted up, so you know that it's going to be definitely good to control these or other NeoPixels.
Okay.
Works with any of the feathers, and you can select which. Can you zoom in a bit?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We can do all that.
I know you can zoom.
We can do that.
So yeah, you got 4 by 8 LEDs. They're RGB. They're super bright. You just plug them onto the feather, and then it also comes with a reset button. So I just reset it. Let's start up again. Go through the bootloader first. This is on a 32U4, but it works with the ESP8266, the M0, whatever feather-shaped item, and then on the bottom, hold on, let me get this off. There's a jumper for one of the pins. This pin is jumpered, but you can cut it and then solder close any of these solder jumpers, so you can select any I/O pin you want for controlling these pixels. So I think this would be a fun way to, you connect it with Adafruit I/O or your sensors, and you can have some basic graphs or LEDs, indicator. I mean, it's not big enough for text scrolling. It's only 4 pixels high. You kind of want 6 pixels high for text characters, but I couldn't quite squeeze them in. So I think if you want color, though, I think this is still kind of fun.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. Yes, it is kind of fun. Look, there it is. I'll show you in the down shooter right there. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, we can see some lighting going on over there. It's a little spoiler for a demo. This right here, it's my product pick of the week this week. It is the NeoPixel FeatherWing. This is a FeatherWing with 32 RGB NeoPixels on it. It plugs right into your feather or doubler, tripler, quadrupler, and you can control it over pin 6 by default or cut that jumper and solder up any of the other GPIO pins, which means you can use it on pretty much any feather. You talk to it just like a regular NeoPixel strip, and this converts the 3.3 volt logic level up to 5 volts so that we get pristine NeoPixel action on there. You can use CircuitPython to code this. You can use Arduino to code this, and I've got an example of each of those here to show you. The first one that I'll show you, this is, let me jump down here to the down shooter. This is in CircuitPython, and it's a little bright there, but I'm going to leave the diffusion off. You can see what's this one doing. Hey, this is based on some cool code that Liz wrote, which takes in the PDM microphone. I have a little PDM microphone soldered there to the doubler. Brings in sound, converts it to light. So this is a sort of a meter. I have it just running up from 0 to 32 on the NeoPixels there. And you can see, if you take a look at my code view there, we treat this like any NeoPixel. We just import NeoPixel. We set up the pin number, in this case D6. The number is 32 of them. Instantiate the NeoPixel object here. I've got the brightness set pretty darn low, and it's still quite bright. And then I did a little remapping here of the logical to physical pins just so that I could, or pixels, so that I could start at the bottom left corner and move my way up to the upper right corner just based on the orientation that I have this at. Then this uses the PDM microphone code in Liz's PDM microphone example to set some colors based on the magnitude that's being read by the microphone of sounds in the room. And then I just have the pixels turning on. As that magnitude grows, it is mapped to a physical number in my remapped pixels and to a set of colors that I have, just green at the bottom, yellow in the middle, red on top. You can probably see those colors a little better there with some diffusion there, some diffusion acrylic. Wow, 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 wow. There you go, pretty cool. Second demo that I wanted to show you is just a typical Arduino demo sweep that we have in the Arduino NeoPixel library. So I can go to a full view here. I don't have any code to show you. Let's go like so. How about there? That'll work. So here, I'll pull this apart so you can see. We've got the NeoPixel FeatherWing with the header pins soldered on. I have a Feather 32U4 running Arduino here, and it has the sockets on it that allow me to plug that right in. Again, I'm using the default pin D6, and if I give that power, it's going to run through some sparkly demos there. I'll diffuse that with some plastic. And that's just the strand test code, I believe it is, or one of the basic Arduino NeoPixel library examples that you can get there. So these are great for doing a little bit of sparkly, flashy, blinky stuff in a small package. You can also use them for an indicator or a graph. You can also use them as a sort of display for NeoPixel colors that you're actually then sending out to big strips of them or rings of them. So you can use it as a sort of little personal NeoPixel palette if you like, depending on what your needs are. So let's see, if we take a look over here, we've got the product ID 2945, and that is only $7.48 right now. So if you want to get a bunch of these, I'm going to double check. Yeah, they're still in stock, so you can throw these in your cart. And you're not actually limited to using this plunked onto a feather. You could, of course, solder to power ground, and we have some little pins for D in and D out on the edges there that allow you to connect up to a pin, allow you to chain these if you want. You can run one to another to another. You just have to provide power and ground, but we can send the data through them, so you might have a use for some small little sort of matrix of NeoPixels there. And you can then again treat them as a single strip, or you can run them to separate pins and use them as separate NeoPixel strips if you like. If you scroll down in here, you'll see we've got a link to the primary guide. And one second, I'm going to turn off this fan that just kicked on. I thought I had turned it off. So here's the main guide, and this will show you the pinout here. If If we click on the pin out page, you can see there's power, ground, and pin D6 that you can connect to. This has a really nice feature of, I'm going to go ahead and grab a battery and plug it in. Was that battery? Oh, that's an old broken one. All right, let me plug it into this one right here. So there you can see I've got it plugged in over battery power. There is a pair of diodes on the FeatherWing itself that allow it to switch to the best power source. So if you have battery and USB, it'll pick whichever one is the higher voltage source. But you can see here I'm able to run it just right off of battery, which makes for a nice little portable setup. You can see down on the bottom we have all these jumpers that you can select from. So you'll cut the D6 jumper and then solder a little blob across the pin that you do want to use. Just make sure you only got one selected. And then you can pick that as the pin in your code. Main example that we have listed here as of the time of the writing of this guide was the ESP8266 Feather. I think didn't have a pin 6, and so that was called 16. If you did want to use a different pin, again, you could cut and solder. But in code on that particular one, it's not pin 6 that the default is going to show up on. And then we have a little usage guide here that takes you to some of the bigger NeoPixel pages, and downloads if you want to take a look at the Eagle PCB file or a fritzing object. If you want to use this in your designs, you can use those. Here is a nice little close-up of the front and the back there. Really handy little FeatherWing. And just checking the chats here, I forgot to mention hello to everyone in the chats. Dave Odessa, Todd Bott, Gaeth Eunice over in our YouTube chat, and where's our Discord? There's the Discord. We got people hanging out over here. Who we have? Oh gosh, where does today start? Rufus, C. Grover, Paul Cutler, Liz, Blitz City DIY, Jim Hendrickson, Gary Z, Todd Bott. Is this Discord? Yeah. Paul says, my first ever project in CircuitPython used a NeoPixel FeatherWing. Makes me feel nostalgic. Yeah, these are great. They've been around for a while. I don't know why I've never used this as a product pick before. It came out, what did I say, January 2016. And so maybe it's time to revisit an old friend. I can also see in the chat there, Todd Bott said that there is a 4x3 font you could consider using if you did want to do some text scrolling. And I believe there's a guide from Melissa on doing using NeoPixel small matrices as a matrix. So there's a lot of options out there for ways that you can code these. But I like this one a lot. It's fun to have a little meter there. Small enough to use in props as well, which is kind of nice. So depending on your needs, you might find this to be pretty useful. All right. Before I go, I'll say head on over there if you want to get one. That's the URL. It's product 2945. They will be at this half price until just a few minutes after the show ends, and then they'll go back up to the regular price. So that's your opportunity right now to get them super cheap. Maybe get a two for one. So thank you everyone for stopping by. Let's sandwich a few things up here. That right there is my product pick of the week this week. It is the NeoPixel FeatherWing, a 32-pixel FeatherWing. Thanks everyone for stopping by. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Stay dry.